Winchwolf, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are building a modern container home that I thought would look really good in Oasis Springs. I don't know why I was feeling like doing something deserty, but I just was. It's pretty rare for me to want to build here because I don't know how to landscape very well in this area, but that day I was building, I was like, I really want to build an Oasis Springs, and because the reference picture that we were using at the time had this sort of orangey wood tone, I thought it would actually match pretty well for Oasis Springs, and that's how we ended up here. I don't have the reference picture anymore because I did build this like 2 months ago, I think. I built this in March, I think, and it's currently May 4th, so it's definitely been a bit. We definitely do not have the reference picture anymore. It's pretty similar to the reference picture though, the exterior is at least. There's a couple of changes I made because it just didn't look as good in The Sims, and I think that was just that octagonal room you saw me place at first. I ended up making it square shaped because the octagonal roofing was not the vibes. This is a 1 bedroom, I think 1 bathroom home as well. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it bigger than that. I mean, we probably could have fit a few more Sims, which would be good for playability, but I like to make homes really spacious and nice looking, and I feel like when you have to fit multiple bedrooms in, it kind of ruins the look of the house sometimes. So if you guys want to have more bedrooms, you could probably find a way to place it. I think if you want to have another bedroom, the best thing to do would be to delete the dining room, turning that into a really small sort of maybe kids room or teens room or whatever. That could definitely work. Probably elongating the house by 1 tile as well could help with that. But otherwise, this house is 1 bedroom. There really wasn't that much space. Unfortunately, I don't know if this qualified as a tiny home. I'm guessing that it doesn't because of the fact that I don't know if this qualifies as a tiny home. I would be shocked if it did though, because usually it seems like it could, but I'm guessing it can't unless it qualifies as a small home, which I think the tile count for that is 100 tiles. I don't know how many tiles this house is. Sometimes I hate the tile counter, which I suppose is the point to have like this small house, but what if I want to make a house like this? Like, this is still small. What if I want to have a porch? Like, porches count as tiles in this game, so then you can't have a nice porch. It's not a tiny home then, and it's such a pain to have to deal with that because a lot of times you can kind of fake stuff. That's the only annoying thing that I don't like with tiny homes, which is why I don't usually use tiny home tile counters. I just don't like dealing with it. It's a pain in the booty. And like I said, even though a home is tiny, I like to give it some spacious feel to it. And that is why you will probably never see a tiny home that has an actual correct tile count on it. I don't even know the last time that I built a tiny home with a tile counter. So apologies if you guys were hoping for that extra buff for relationships and stuff, but that's definitely not this house. I really like sort of this like more minimalist vibe that we go for in here. I was really into minimalist for some reason when I was building it back in March. It all started when I made my mod's apartment, and then from there I did like another apartment that was also minimalist. I did this house. There's another house after this. No, it was pre this one as well. I just have a lot of houses that are more minimalist looking, simple, clean, modern, or like contemporary. I don't want to say modern, maybe more contemporary. So yeah, and the color scheme for this house I think is pretty tame as well. We don't go too crazy with any colors. We have a couple of wood accents. We sort of stick with this darker wood, I think, throughout the entire house. And there's a little desk area upstairs, and there's this like cute little sunroom that at first I think was supposed to be a sitting area. I can't remember if I made it a sitting area or if I made it into a skill building place for like painting or something. But that's what this little room right here turns out to be, is some sort of either sitting room or skill building area. So this house does have the functionality for like wanting to get stuff done, of course. So yeah. We do have a little outdoor seating area as well, of course. And yeah, there's a couple of more industrial touches, and I just think this house turns out really nice in the end. And I really like the backyard that you guys will kind of see in the end, or this like side yard to backyard. It's made for more entertainment because I figured maybe a single sim, has a lot of friends over. Maybe they like to go barbecuing. It's Oasis Springs, so it pretty much never rains and never snows, which is perfect for having some sort of like nice seating area outside. So yeah. What else is there? The Sims recently announced something. I don't have anything else to say about the build. The Sims recently announced a teaser, and then, well, I think they teased us, and then they showed another teaser, which was a bit bizarre. I think I saw on Twitter people were like, so they put out a teaser and then did another teaser for the teaser. So apparently there's like hypothetical werewolves coming to The Sims, which would be super cool. Like I say always, I'm not big into occults. I want to get more into them. I want to like use them and like experience them, because to be honest, I've heard a lot about how the vampires are really good. I do have the vampires pack. I've just quite literally never made a lamp. I've never made a vampire sim in my life. The only occult I've really ever played with, I think, are mermaids, and even then I played with it very briefly. So we definitely need to get into the occults a little bit more, but I'm really happy if werewolves do come. I'd be excited to make some sort of werewolf build. I don't know how, like, what a werewolf build means, but I'd figure it out, you know? And I'm kind of sad because, you know, people have been asking for werewolves for a long time, along with fairies. I've seen a lot of people asking for fairies as well. But there was just so much negativity, as per usual, on Twitter, especially in the Sims community. Well, actually, I should say in the Sims community, especially on Twitter. But people are like, we don't want werewolves and this and that. And I'm like, there's so many people that have asked for werewolves. So many people. And I always find it weird to like read sentences or like comments about, you know, upcoming hypotheticals and them being like, well, we don't want this. Nobody wants this. And it's like, have you been on Twitter lately anywhere in the Sims community? People want this. It's always like it's not just about you, you know? Like but I'll be excited for werewolves. Like I said, I don't do gameplay in general very often, and I don't use occults ever. But, you know, I'm still happy for the people who want it. And to be honest, I think occults will always be part of the Sims. I'm kind of shocked that people think that occults won't be. Or, like, they'll be like, oh, well, we don't need occults or don't want occults. Occults have always been in the Sims. They've been in the occults. They've been in the Sims since, like, Sims 2. We literally had a pack called Sims Supernatural, which had all sorts of stuff. I know we've had zombies, I think. We definitely had werewolves, we had vampires, and I recently learned that we had fairies in The Sims 3, and I just didn't know it. So cults, I think, are pretty safely always going to be in The Sims in some way. Even in future Sims, I bet they're going to have an occult. I would be shocked if they got rid of them, because it's just like that one step of like real, you know, Sims is supposed to be a life simulator, but there's like some quirky things about The Sims. So of course there's going to be some quirky like supernatural things as well. It just feels fitting. I would be very upset if they ever got rid of occults, even though I don't use them, because people like occults and they're fun. And they're fun for like storytelling purposes, you know? Like you want to make a story about how your sim got eaten by a vampire, or how, you know, maybe your sim started out as a vampire and they're like trying to not be a vampire anymore. You know, it's all I think it would all be very fun and interesting and cool to have in the game. There is also 3 new kit announcements, which of course comes with mixed feelings. I'm okay with it. I actually have learned to like kits. I think it's just because for me, it's like a few items that are fun and cute. And it's always like, in my mind, it's like having extra content isn't really a bad thing. So I don't really mind kits. People have been talking about how kits have like lowered the production of regular packs. I don't know whether that is or isn't true, because obviously coinciding the fact that we do get more kits is the fact that we haven't gotten a stuff pack in a long time. We're not getting expansion packs as often, or game packs for that matter. And so people are attributing that to kits. But I always want to remind that just because 2 things happen at the same time doesn't mean that they're related. It's possible that The Sims just is slowing down content in general, and so we're having more kits because, again, kits are like super easy to produce, and apparently they have a separate team, so it's not like that team would ever be making regular content. So my guess is that they already had the plan to slow down the content, and their way of combating that was adding kits, which, yes, then we're getting more kits because of the lack of content, but it's not the kits' reason. The kits are not the reason for the lack of content. They're sort of the appeasing of the lack of content, I guess. At least that's what I'm thinking. I think the updates are what's causing the lack of content, to be honest. I think ever since we've started getting more and more updates, we've started getting less and less content. And I think that's probably because maybe they're spending a lot of time on updates and trying to change the game, but also potentially maybe the game's just having a lot of bugs and they don't want to risk having big content updates or changes because it takes a lot of time. So that's what I'm thinking. Oh, here are the reference pictures, by the way. You just saw them really quickly. So apparently I do still have them. They were in this video. They're from an Instagram account, which you've now seen. I don't remember. I didn't see the name, but you guys can always, go back and rewind if you want to see where that was from. So yeah, but I think we're... Oh no, are we almost done with the video? I don't know. We had this little corner in the... I'm sorry, I'm messing with my earring, by the way. We had this little corner in the staircase and I didn't know what to do with it. I wanted to put a piano, but then my viewers were like, no piano. It's not vibey enough. I don't know. I would have liked to have a music corner just for playability, but also like I like the idea of like having people over and then like you could play the piano with them or play music with them. But instead we ended up making this a sitting corner, which also looks really, really nice. I think I just personally liked the music corner a little bit better, but this is fine too. Like it looks really good. It's definitely something that would be better for staging. Like you wouldn't put like some weird music thing over here. So it looks nice in the corner, especially with the hanging plant and everything. So yeah. What else is there to say? I think we're kind of reaching the end of this video. We're doing the backyard now. And like I said, I really like the backyard. It is of course small because this lot is really small. I'm thinking this is a 20 by 15, but I'm not even sure if Oasis Springs has 20 by 15s. It was a bit of a struggle with the terrain paint at first because terrain paint is so like, nitpicky and things like that, that it was a bit of a pain to kind of figure out a good shape. But we ended up making a little fire pit area. We put a bar in, and then in the back we got a little pool area. And there's a lot of plants to make this look a little bit more luscious, deserty vibes, but also I just wanted to kind of look like an oasis, So that was the vibes. We got some lounge chairs. I never really realized just like I want a fire pit that's like in between the smaller size and the big size. Like the one we have is so small, but then like anything else is so large. Like I want something in between, you know what I mean? So it's really weird. It's just it's like the littlest thing, but it bothered me so much and I kept scrolling back and forth between things and I was like, oh, what looks good, what doesn't. As you can see, just kind of placing things around. I think I do end up going back to the smaller fire pit just because it looked better. We are using the jalapa plants, which I really love these plants so much. I just don't use them super often, but I think we might go back to the base game ones. I liked the green color better on the base game ones. So yeah, and there's of course the famous dino in the background, which I thought was pretty iconic. I picked this lot specifically to have the dino in the background, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, so like I said, really love how this backyard turns out. I'm kind of running out of things to say because I don't have that much time left, so I think I'm actually going to say goodbye to y'all. I hope you guys liked this video. As always, if you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like me, hit the subscribe button. And if you really like me and want to be notified every single time I post a video, go ahead and hit that bell button. You guys hopefully will see more content from me coming soon. I am posting once a week at the very least, but I want to get back to posting twice a week. I want to get some shorts in, so hopefully we're kind of getting in there. And I am posting my legacy challenge slowly but surely. I am, so that should be happening at some rate, which probably will cause me to be posting a lot more for the next week. But after that it'll die down because I'm going to try editing my legacy consistently. I do it on Twitch. In my legacy, I play live on Twitch. So editing I want to do after I film that stream because right now I have 4 videos or 4 streams that are all 8 hours long and I'm having to like try to spam edit and it's a pain in the booty. But anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow, and I hope you guys are having a great day, night, morning, whatever time it is for you guys. And yeah, I will see you guys next time.